Well, hello, everybody. Happy Friday in September. I guess we would call this the onset of fall,
Yes, it is.
at least where we
I
live.
can say where we live.
Yeah, it's still a little warm in Minnesota, but fall is my fave.
It's my favorite too. There's nothing better than like a pair of shorts and a sweatshirt.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Cozy.
cozy.
We like cozy.
We do.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to our live Q&A. I'm Chris Freytag. This is the lovely Sam Cameranesi, also known as Sam Cam. We try to come live once a month. We probably come live 10 out of 12 months a year.
Yep.
From Get Healthy UTV live studios here, and we answer questions. Get Healthy UTV is an app that is all about live streaming workouts. We have over 600 workouts, but we know that part of being healthy is not just working out, but it's talking about nutrition and mindset and all the things. We have every month we kind of cover a different subject, but just letting you know that all questions are okay. Anything you want to ask today is okay. But we're kind of focusing a little bit on mindset and mental health,
Yep.
Especially as we age. So that's something to think about if you have any questions. We have some pre-asked questions. We have some questions that actually relate nothing to mindset, but
Yep.
hey, if you want to talk about something health related, we are here. Okay, so I just have to mention, Get Healthy UTV, if you are a member or not a member, you might know that we are having our fitness weekend live and in person in Minnesota next weekend. We are so excited. There are about 100 women coming to Minneapolis, September 23rd through the 24th. It is not too late to sign up. Hotel still has rooms. It is at the Mall of America, which is a great place in and of itself.
It is.
If you're a shopper like me. I love to shop. So it's a fun place with lots of good places to eat. It's close to the airport. It's easy to get there. Any of you who live in Minnesota and you're like, you know what, I need a kick in the butt. I'm just going to drive over to the Mall of America for those 2 days. Join in on this thing. We are going to be doing workouts Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
We'll kind of tailor them so that everyone isn't too sore. We have a whole program. We have 3 or 4 great workshops where we're going to be doing a lot of what we're doing here, but it's going to be intimate because we're going to be answering your questions right there. All the trainers are going to be there, so you can meet the trainers live and in person. We're catering yummy food. So it's just going to be so freaking fun.
Yeah.
We're playing real music, so get ready to, groove to Bruno Mars, not just the beats in the back of the music like you all hear in our workouts.
Yeah.
So
It'll be way more fun.
isn't it going to be good?
Yeah, we love it.
We're excited. We have a lot to do before next weekend. So just wanted to let you know it's not too late to sign up. We could still take just a few more people. The room is fairly big, so
Yeah.
we're excited. Okay, let's dive in, Sam, to our live Q&A. Friday afternoon is a different time than we've ever come. We usually come on a Tuesday or a Thursday. And I know a lot of people are off work, or maybe you're dealing with kids or whatever. So we'll see who joins us, and we're here for you for about 45 minutes today.
Awesome. So the theme is mental health and exercise, but again, any question that you write in the question box goes. So we'll take pre-asked questions that we have a couple there, and then as you start rolling, we'll start answering them as many as we can get in. So with that being said, how does mental health impact your physical health and exercise?
They're totally intertwined. I think that physical health helps to improve your mental health. When people are feeling depressed, down, movement, not even the word exercise, but movement in general, movement helps depression patients. They actually use movement therapy in depression therapy. So it's really a big deal. Just getting your arms up overhead and moving your body, yoga, meditation, we're going to talk about in a minute. All of those things really help. Deep breathing, which is really trend right now. This gentleman, Wim Hof, the Wim Hof method of breathing, he is really trend right now because he's been talking about taking deep breaths, holding your breath, getting the breath all the way down and all the way up. It sounds so silly. It sounds like, well, duh, I know how to breathe. But it's really these little things that make a difference. But movement is the key to clearing your head. We believe also that, for instance, anything that's rhythmic in movement helps to keep your mind sharp. So today we were talking about kickboxing, and someone said, well, kickboxing is just so, like, I got to think so hard to know, I'm moving my right arm, I'm moving my left arm. I'm like, yes, and that's good for your brain to have to pattern like that and keep your mind sharp. As we age, we want our mind to stay sharp. We want to feel like we feel good. So not only from things like mental sharpness and alertness and ability to pattern and think, but also then from the side of depression and emotion. You know, when you're feeling down, sometimes just a walk and some deep breathing can really clear your head and help you step back and take a moment for yourself. So the connection is real. It's big, it's huge. And when I talk to people who are really low mentally, and then I ask them if they're moving, and they're like, nah, no, it's kind of like the cart before the horse. Like, well, you better start moving to improve your mental health. You got to somehow start one of them.
Kind of going off of that. So like if you're a beginner, right, and you're trying to get back into working out, or maybe you are a true beginner, how can you like change that mindset of like getting back into exercise? Because sometimes it can be daunting, right? And that mental like connection isn't quite there. So how do you like switch that mindset?
And we talk to people online all the time like this.
Yeah.
And so just so you know, you have to allow yourself to be a beginner. Okay. It is okay. And one of the things that comes with age is wisdom. When I was younger, I understand like where people would be so competitive. Well, and not everybody is. I am an Enneagram number 3. What are you? Do you know what you are?
Yeah.
You're 3. Of course.
Shocker.
We're both 3s. And so like, I'm a little competitive, but now I realize like, it's okay to be a beginner. If you're out of shape, if you haven't exercised ever in your life and all of a sudden you're like, hey, all of a sudden I'm valuing this and I need help, start from the beginning. It is hard. You will be intimidated. You will feel, sometimes like a little bit like, I'm so sore. I can't do much. I can only pick up these weights. But you have to flip that to like, okay, it took me a long time to get where I am. Like, let's say you haven't exercised in 20 years. You can't expect to be back in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So you have to give yourself that grace, that kindness, allow yourself to be a beginner. We have heard from so many of you who tell us that you are, in that exact position, that we filmed a program that we call Fat Burning Beginner Workouts. There's 6 of them so far, and we will add more to them. What we did is we took what you guys were saying to us. Many people tell us, I can't go up and down I can't go to the floor and then stand up and then go to the floor and stand up. Like, that's way too hard for me. Maybe it's based on being out of shape, or maybe it's based on age. Some people tell us, you guys move too fast. You're just advanced. I want to slow it down. I want to understand the movement. So we slowed them way down. We kept them very, very, I don't want to use the word basic to make them sound like they're boring, because they're not boring at all. I actually, as I get older, I prefer, as Sam knows, I prefer a slowed down workout anyway. I want to really focus on my muscle, and I still love like the kickboxing and moving fast from time to time, but most of the time I really do enjoy something a little more slowed down. So we've got stuff for all levels, for everybody, but flip that mindset from feeling competitive or a little depressed because you feel, or a little intimidated, to, hey, I'm just starting from square one. Like when you were a baby, you had to learn how to walk. You didn't know how. So you had to learn how to take those first steps. You have to allow yourself to do that.
Absolutely. All right, not on the mental and, exercise questionnaires, but why does weight pile on in menopause? Your favorite question.
Everyone asks that.
I know.
Well, okay, so yes, people gain weight at menopause and they say, well, what is it? Yes, it can be hormones. Yes, it can be hormones. Our hormones are changing when we hit that age of menopause. So when you get through not having a period for a year, that day, that's the year mark, that's like your menopause day. After that, you're post-menopause. You're only in menopause for one day.
One day?
One
not
day.
Even a full year, just a day.
Just a day.
All
Once you've gone a whole year without a period, that's menopause. And from then on, you're post-menopause. So
wait, what happens if it's like 11 months and some days and then you get it? You have to start all over.
You start
again?
over. Yeah, and I mean, it's not exact science. Like you might get it one more time and then all of a sudden you're realizing like, I must be post-menopause because I'm not. So it's not an exact science. But anyway, your estrogen's decreasing, your testosterone's decreasing, your progesterone is decreasing. So those hormones protect your joints. They give you some energy. So yes, that can be part of the reason. But what I want to tell most women is just don't use that as your excuse or the curtain you hide behind. Like, well, my hormones are bad, so I'm just going to gain 30 pounds. Here's the thing. It's also a time of life when we slow down. We feel older. Our bodies feel older. So we stop doing some of the maybe more advanced type sports that we used to do when we were younger. We have more time on our hands. We're maybe not chasing little kids anymore, so we're sedentary. We're sitting in chairs more often. We're sitting on the couch at night. I tell this story all the time. My kids told me, this old couch we had, there was a point where my kids said to me, Mom, you've never sat on this couch. And I'm like, yes, I have. And they're like, no, we've never seen you sit on this couch. I'm like, I have too. Like, and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, I never sit on the couch. Now, this is when my kids were little. Now, guess what I do every night now at my age, 58 next month? I sit on the couch every night. So that is a change in my lifestyle. So if I wasn't making effort to get more steps in, to take that daily walk, to do my workout, I would be burning less calories throughout the day. And at the end of the day, weight gain is calories in, calories out. Yes, it matters what type of calories. Yes, it matters like how you feel, and what type of exercise you do and putting muscle on your body, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, a calorie deficit is how you lose weight. You can't lose weight. I'll have people say, I'm eating so much protein. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I'm like, okay, well, protein is amazing for feeding muscles, but how much protein are you eating? If you're eating too many calories of protein, more than you're actually expending, you're going to gain weight, period. Doesn't matter what you're eating if it's too many calories. I mean, if you overeat carrots, which would be really hard to overeat.
I don't know about that
carrots, but I mean, my point being that, a lot of it is sedentary. And so don't hide behind the curtain of hormones. Say, I got to get moving. I got to change what I do. It's maybe less extreme, but low impact does not mean low intensity. We talk about that all the time.
I love low impact workouts. And actually, not kind of similar. I did a body weight workout the other day, and I was like, this feels really good. Like, it's hard. Your body weight is enough weight, but there's something to be said about low impact workouts and just like lifting heavy, focusing on your form, focusing on all the things that you should be thinking about. They're great because sometimes jumping just doesn't always feel good.
Right. And then on a side note, if you do feel like your hormones are really out of whack, and you want to do something about it, see a functional medicine doctor. Your regular MD may not, I don't know, be of great help. And so a functional medicine doctor can help you if you think that some sort of hormone replacement or something could help you, because it can help you. It's not for everybody. There's no one size fits all menopause. That's the thing. Just like there's no one size fits all pregnancy.
Right.
You just have to muddle through. And the most important thing is you're talking to friends, you're talking to professionals like functional medicine doctors, you're talking to people who can help you navigate that time of life.
Absolutely. Another question. My low back has been really bothering me. Any tips or tricks? They're afraid to go a little bit heavier with the weights. So low back pain, how can we?
That's a very common one. And actually that's one that leads to mental issues like depression, because you feel like my back is so tender. Yep. I'm afraid to do anything to overuse it. So staying away from heavy weights when you're in the middle of a serious back problem. Did you say low back?
Yes.
Low back is the number one reason people go to the doctor for a physical therapy type problem. It's typically low back.
Yep.
And it's very common. So you kind of want to stay away from those weights till you can figure out what's going on. But for most of the time, I am not a doctor, but most of the time it's something that is fixable. Yes, there are times, and we know plenty of people who have had back surgery because their disc becomes so incredibly degenerated or ruptured or who knows what. Or if nerves are being really pinched and you can barely move your arms or your legs or whatever, that's when, things are really serious. But for most of us, by the time we're 40s, 50s, 60s, we have some wear and tear to our back. That's just life. And so those discs can get a little herniated or a little extended or a little deflated. And sometimes the inflammation around there is what really causes the pain. So there are things you can do to reduce the inflammation. I literally talk about this, I swear to God, 7 days a week with people. Literally.
About back pain?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah.
So, and I had low back pain about 8 years ago to the point where I couldn't even bend over and pick up a laundry basket. I literally had to get on the floor, pick it up, push myself up. And it was so bad. I was so mad because this is my line of work. It's like, oh my God, Chris, get a grip. And I had an MRI on my back and the doctor said, yes, you have a little degeneration, a little herniation in your L4, L5, but you have so much inflammation around it because those muscles around your spine, they start inflaming and trying to grip to protect your back so that nothing happens. So you've got to reduce that. So go on Get Healthy UTV. We have a free video. Go to 10-minute free videos and go under yoga and flexibility and find the video that is all about low back pain.
Yeah.
Yep. And in that video, I show you how to use a massage ball, which is a little harder than a tennis ball, a little softer than a lacrosse ball. And I show you how to use it. So you basically place it on the sides of your spine and you lay on the floor, and it's like trigger point therapy on your own. So that, because you can go to a physical therapist once a week, but most of this stuff you need to do every day if you're trying to heal something like this.
Right.
So it's the feeling that like someone's putting their elbow into your back. So you use that ball, you reduce all of the inflammation. I've got some stretches for you in that same video. And then start thinking about what you're eating. Reduce alcohol, reduce inflammatory foods, like let that body heal. And eat more sensibly, drink more water. You can take things like Advil that are going to help remove inflammation right at that time. Infrared heat has been my go-to. So infrared heat is different than heat. Heat is awesome. Like heat just makes you feel good, loosens things up. Infrared heat goes deeper. It penetrates through the dermis. So it gets deeper into the muscle. And it's a wavelength that actually is not hot. So if you had an infrared back pad that had no heat also added to it, you'd be like, is this thing working? Because I can't feel it. So most infrared back pads, when you buy them, have infrared heat and heat in it. So you can feel that warmth happening, but the infrared wavelengths are helping with inflammation. I used that. And I will, truth be told, if you were a fly on my wall in my house right now, I use my infrared heating pad every day, unless I've stopped taking it with me on trips. So I used to put it in my suitcase. Now I'm like, well, if I go 2 or 3 days without it, it doesn't matter because I'm not in any pain. But I use it as like a preventative, just that infrared to keep my back from ever having, I haven't had back pain in, I can't even tell you how long. Knock on, this is wood.
This is wood.
So I hope that helps. Back pain is a real thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even just the other day, like I was I was out of town and slept on a weird mattress and things felt tighter, right? And so for me, it's the same thing, doing some, preventative care, doing some foam rolling, that kind of stuff. And then I will say, like, for me, movement feels better. The more I sit, the more like my low back kind of compresses. And so like I have to stand up and move, and I don't do anything crazy. You go for a walk for a little bit, but like if I wake up and my back is like killing me, it's foam rolling to get started, move your body, stretch a little bit, and then kind of move around.
Well, you make a really good point. I'm just going to say one more thing about this topic. So after my third was born, my third baby, that's when I really started to have some of this low back pain, 5 years after that. And I was like, good Lord, what's going on? And I got into Pilates. I became certified as a Pilates instructor. I really understood that Pilates was kind of a magic to learning how to use that human girdle, that muscle that wraps around our body like a girdle. So try out our Pilates workouts. We just released a mat Pilates 4 in the gold workouts a week ago, and I've seen a lot of our members in our Facebook group talking about how it's not a sweaty workout, but holy bananas, I can feel that workout. The other thing I want to say about sitting is when you're standing, so I'm just standing up right here, just for a second, I've got my lower body to dissipate the weight in my low back right now. So my low back is not taking the brunt. Now, I sit down in a chair, where's all the weight distribution? Boom, right at my tailbone, at that low back. So if you're somebody who sits in a chair 8 hours a day, you also can develop horrible back pain. And so finding ways, standing work desks, I mean, it makes such a difference. Stand up, sit down throughout the day. A walking pad is the newest trend. These walking pads are like $200 on Amazon. We know about 3 good ones. And actually, I'm on the brink of buying one of those 3.
You keep saying it. I'm waiting for the day
it's going to happen.
It shows up.
No, I am going to buy it because just walking at like 1 mile per hour can help to eliminate back pain, can burn calories, can just keep your mind into it. So the thing about back pain is when you get rid of it is not the time to stop therapy. You have to start taking it on as a daily ritual. Like, I'm just going to stretch for 5 minutes. That's what I do.
We have somebody asking, will an infrared sauna work? Is that the same concept? Will it help?
Infrared sauna will alleviate inflammation all over your body. So an infrared sauna is amazing. As a matter of fact, we have one in our basement. My husband
loves it.
He loves it. I don't really go in it. I just don't make the time for that. But concentrated infrared on the point of pain. So if you blow up, your knee is killing you, put that infrared heating pad on that knee and let those infrared wavelengths get in your back, your shoulder. But an infrared sauna is overall anti-inflammatory and really good.
What are the best exercises to improve balance and prevent falls?
Ooh, that's a good question too, because as you know, it's such a real, back when I was your age, when people would talk about falling and like getting old, and
like,
be like,
don't
what?
think about it.
Yeah, whatever. And now here I am at my age, 58. My mother is 84, and I'm watching her fall and seeing some of her balance issues, and then talking to other friends who are caring for their elderly parents and seeing them fall. It's a real thing. So core muscles are huge when it comes to balance. We have a balance workout that's 10 minutes.
Yep.
I think I did it. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have a balance workout that is 10 minutes, and it is just about balancing and using your core, balancing on one foot, balancing on unstable surfaces, balancing barefoot. It, again, seems so silly. Like, roll up a mat and stand on a mat on one foot, and you're like, well, that's easy. Well, it might be easy for you now, but when you're 80, it might not be easy if you have lost your core strength. So maintaining your core strength, maintaining your ability to move in all planes of motion, sideways, forward, back, and twisted, your ability to stand on one foot, to balance on one arm. And then, of course, Pilates. I'll always go back to Pilates as the best way to keep your core healthy and strong. And we do incorporate balance in Pilates workouts also.
Absolutely. We also have, if you're a member, the unilateral workouts. And
yes,
so
the gold workouts.
Yes,
so
gold.
We have unilateral strength 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Yes, there's 3. I was looking.
Like, are there 3?
Yeah, there are 3. And people, we realized, Sam and I were looking, we always like to see, like, what's the most watched video for the month or for the last 6 months or whatever. And unilateral strength was up there.
It was up there. We were.
And I was like, good for our members. They're taking that, like, seriously.
And then I just did a premium. That was the Core and Balance
That's
series.
what I was thinking.
Yep.
Okay, Core and Balance Premium.
Yes.
And was it the first or was it?
The first.
The first.
Yeah.
Why don't I remember that? What were we wearing?
Well, it's just me, remember, by myself.
Oh, that one.
Blue.
Okay.
In the
yes.
blue.
People love those workouts too, because you put on a 15-minute cool down on the back end, right?
There's a warm up at the beginning that's a little longer than we normally do, and then it's like a 20-minute workout, and then a 10 to 15-minute stretch at the end.
So for those of you who are members, like, we listen to you. Your feedback matters so much to us. People were saying, I really want a series of workouts where the cool down is long. Yep. It's not just a 5-minute cool down. It's a 15-minute stretch, blah, blah, blah. So how many of those did you do? You did like 4 or?
Yeah. There are upper body, lower body, core, and then just like a balance.
Awesome.
So 4 of them. Yeah. How do you determine whether to use heat or ice for pain?
Well, that's a really good question.
It is a good question.
Okay,
it gets
so
confusing.
Acute pain is ice. Chronic pain is heat. So acute means I just fell on my knee. It's blowing up like a balloon. It's killing me. Ice.
Yep.
Ice can reduce inflammation. So acute means it's something that just happened. It's going to go away kind of thing. Chronic means my back pain has been going on for 6 months or more. My back is killing me. I can't get rid of this, or it comes and goes over the course of a year. Then that's chronic, and heat can help. And sometimes people will alternate ice and heat, like a little bit of ice to reduce the external inflammation, a little bit of heat for improving mobility, blood flow, and internal. So you have to decide which one. We have an article on gethealthyu.com all about ice versus heat.
I can put that in the chat. So
look at Sam just typing away.
I know, it looks like I'm not paying attention, but I really am. Or I'm trying to.
No, you're doing great. Sam is like a multitasker. So as you guys are asking questions, she's throwing links into our chat box or underneath.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we have a question rolling in. Let me see. How can I change my 13-year-old daughter's mindset about more mobility work? She plays soccer and complains of knee and ankle pains. We're just
it is really hard to convince younger people that they need mobility work because they're already so mobile. They kind of have that feeling of like, I'm invincible, I can do it.
Yeah.
But joints, talk to her about joints, because joints are where 2 bones come together. And joints are hinged joints, or some of them circumduct. Like, we can circumduct our wrist. We can't really kind of can move that elbow, but the ball and socket joints are the shoulders and the hips. And then the ankles, the wrists, and the elbows can, move in a variety of motions. And keeping them healthy makes a big difference. And when you release them, it helps. Maybe talk a little bit, even though she said soccer player, right?
Yes.
Talk about gymnasts, like say, how are they so flexible and mobile? How do they touch their toes so easily? Because they do more mobility work. And more than not, if you are more mobile, you have a less likely, not always, it depends on like if you're hit on the field and it's knee to knee contact or something and it hurts, but more often than not, the more mobile you are, the less chance of injury, because your joints can react like a rubber band and help you. It is hard. You know, I really wish all coaches.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, go to the coach and talk about mobility training because they really need to do it.
And I think like when you think of a 13-year-old, right, they're still trying to think of like all the things and like maybe bring up their favorite soccer player or their favorite athlete and be like, look, like they're stretching, they're doing all these things. Trying
That's
to
a
get
great idea.
the coaches is huge. You know, and you can also kind of explain to them, like, do you want to get injured? Chances are they don't, right? And so then you're like, okay, in order to not get injured or whatever.
Prevent the chances.
Exactly. Then let's start stretching. Mobility is like stretching before and after. And I know at 13, they're like, I don't have time. But like, you kind of have to, you know, speak to them in their terms.
One more idea. When I went to a NFL football game, I've been to lots of them, but I had one opportunity where I was down on the field. And so obviously Minnesota Vikings, we live in Minnesota. They came out on the field and the first thing they did was mobility exercises, the exact same ones that we do in class.
Yeah,
I was laughing so hard. They were doing hip circles. They were doing toe touches as they walked across the field. They were doing walking lunges. They were doing plies and yogi squats. And I was like, okay, if it's good enough for an NFL player making millions of dollars, it's good enough for me, right?
Yep.
They know they have to do that. Mobility training is the secret to keeping their joints, elastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you lose fat and gain muscle while in a calorie deficit?
You can. Building muscle has to do with using the muscle. So the only way you can build muscle is breaking down those muscle fibers and then repairing with protein. So protein is very important. And especially as we age, a lot of women tend to become more sedentary and eat less protein. They're just, I'm not eating as much meat or I'm not eating as much this or that. And then your muscles are starting to deteriorate if you're not using them. And it's everything in health has a little bit of that whole snowball effect problem going with it.
Does.
So, yes, you can gain muscle and lose weight while in a calorie deficit as long as you're eating healthy and providing protein to those muscles.
All right. I missed one up here, so I want to make sure that we grab it. What are the best strategies for managing menopause symptoms through diet and exercise?
Well, anti-inflammatory foods, getting rid of fried foods and additives and coloring, food coloring, and all the crap. I mean, I wish I could teach everybody to be a label reader. What it says on the front of a bottle is literally a billboard for the manufacturer to say whatever they want.
Yep.
You can literally put on the front of anything that's filled with food coloring, whatever, and have it say natural, wholesome, yummy. Those are just descriptive
Yummy.
words. You can say anything you want on the front. There are only 14 claims you can't make on labels. It's pretty crazy. Otherwise, you can say use any descriptive words you want. But you flip it over and you see red dye 40, blue dye 5, yellow 6, this additive, that additive. That stuff just causes inflammation in your body and joint pain because of the inflammation. See how it's all fitting together? So get rid of additives, get rid of food coloring, get rid of fake everything in your diet. Eat more fruits and vegetables. The more produce you have, the more vegetable type products you eat. It also ties into this whole trend of the blue zones that is all over the internet now, because the blue zones just came out with a new documentary, 4-part documentary about the blue zones are the areas of the world where the people live the longest, the most centurions. And they went to those cities and studied them. And what are they doing differently than the rest of us?
Did you watch it yet?
I watched all 4 parts.
Oh, yeah, of course you
did.
I need to get on that this weekend.
It was amazing. It's very interesting. But at the bottom line is all these people do movement. And by the way, none of them do organized exercise. Nope.
Isn't that crazy to you?
They do movement. They sit on the floor, they stand up. They sit on the floor, they stand up. They climb stairs, they go down. They bend over, they do this, they do that. They're constantly moving. They're gardening. They're doing stuff that keeps them in motion. And then they are eating healthy. They're eating fruits and vegetables and healthy proteins And then, of course, it also digs into relationships and all that, because mindset is a part of this, which is what we're talking about, having fruitful relationships and deep relationships with family and friends so that you have connection. You think that that doesn't matter? It does. But at the end of the day, back to the menopause question, what you put in your mouth is the number one health choice you make every single day. And yes, hormones are a big deal. I'm not discounting them at all. That's a whole nother subject. We've talked about it, and we're going to be talking about it at the fitness weekend. But what you eat is like probably number 1 or 2 in that equation.
And there's some conversation going back and forth, and you've said it before about like healthy chips. What, you know, they say that they're healthier, but they also have inflammatory oils. You say you always watch out for the oils, and there's a lot of conversation about that going.
Is it? So I love chips. Like I love chips. And I eat chips all the time, but I'm very particular. I try not to eat seed oils. Now, some people say, oh, that's just marketing. Seed oils are fine. Okay, believe what you want. Yeah. I think that I try to avoid as many seed oils as I can because they are inflammatory in your body. So that's things like canola oil, vegetable oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil. Even if they are organic, they're still seed oils. So now, does that mean I never eat it? No, I don't. Like, I had no choice. I really wanted some popcorn, and I was out of town. I'm like, I'm eating that popcorn. It has sunflower oil, and I don't care. So it's not like I don't, but I try to avoid it. Siete chips, siete, which is the number 7 in Spanish, all their chips are no wheat. Most of them are no wheat. They're all organic. They have an organic corn chip that is to die for, and avocado or coconut oil. Yep. So they're amazing. Lesser Evil is another brand that's all coconut or avocado oil. Amazing. Jackson's is another brand that makes sweet potato chips with avocado oil. And I'm like obsessed with sweet potato chips. And when I found these, favorite, yeah. I can eat the whole bag. Let's talk about the fact that it says 5 servings on the back. Give me a break. There's literally 2 servings, don't you think?
Yeah.
I'm like, how my husband and I will be driving the car and we'll eat the bag, and we're like, how is that 5 servings? That was 2.
You're like that? I could eat 2 of them.
But anyway, it really matters. So it's not taking the joy out of your life. It's being smart.
Absolutely. What are some self-care practices that you incorporate into your daily routine to promote mental wellness?
That's a really good question, and I'm going to answer that as well as I'm going to talk about meditation. We do have a 14-day meditation series on Get Healthy UTV. It is free. You don't have to be a member. You can just sign up for the 14-day meditation challenge. And all of the meditations are done by my daughter. So my daughter is 29. She is deep into meditation. She is a professional ballerina, and she got into meditation to help deal with her headspace because the ballet world is a really icky world, to be quite honest.
It is.
And so she learned about the value of meditation to help her stay on the right side. So she is a Reiki specialist, a Kundalini teacher, all this. So join our meditation series. Now, do I do the meditation? No, I should do more of it. I'm just being honest. I wish I did. I started doing the Wim Hof breathing, which I love. I follow him. He has free YouTubes. I have done some of my daughter's meditations. They are really good. That 14-day meditation, it's like ranges from 5 minutes to 15 minutes. So it's not like we're asking you to sit there and meditate for an hour, for goodness sake. And the ones that got up to 15 minutes had some movement involved in them, like some yoga movement and stuff. So it's really quite easy. But some of the self-care practices I do, daily walk. Like today it's raining, so I don't know if I'm going to walk today. But I walk 6 days a week on the average. I get out in nature. Even in the winter, I hate winter so much, but I will bundle up hand warmers, everything, just to get my body outside. It does change things for me mentally.
Yep.
I try to sleep. I try to be more mindful about prayer and journaling and things, especially as I get older, because I feel like when you get older, the highs are so high and the lows are so low. Like I see so many friends going through so much hard stuff and my family in different situations. And then you see people achieving like a great things happening, right?
Yep.
The birth of kids and this and that, like so many good things, but you have to be able to balance it out. I also just as self-care, take the right supplements, do the right thing to keep my mind clear. I think that matters. And then the last thing I would say is for self-care, connecting with friends. finally my girlfriends and I all have time again. Like we literally didn't talk to each other for like 10 years because it's like, I'm sorry, I have 3 hockey practices and a dance practice tonight, as well as I have to get up at 4:30 in the morning and blah, blah, blah. But now we're all like, hey, who wants to go to happy hour tomorrow night? Who wants to take a walk? Who wants to play pickleball? It's really kind of a great time of life, to be honest. So that's what I do. What do you do for self-care? Let's talk about that, like for helping with mental health.
I also would say like movement. That is like my first and foremost. I do like to walk. You are way better than me in the winter. Does not happen outside. It's inside for me.
Well, inside is fine too. I mean, I like to walk inside and watch shows. I watch shows when I walk.
I go back and forth between like just listening to podcasts and just kind of like, letting all that go. My biggest thing I would say is reading. I try, even if it's just 10 pages before bed, even if I'm like super tired, try to put the phone away. For me, the last couple years has been great for reading. And then, same thing. Like just the other day I broke down crying. I'm like, why am I crying? Right. And I realized I'm spending way too much time with my fiance and I need time with girlfriends. And I was like, you need to go find more friends. I have a lot of girlfriends that I haven't seen in a while, and that is what I'm doing this weekend. So
that's fun. See,
to your point, it's like the connection of like the connection, being with friends. So,
and I love that Sam is a voracious reader. As a matter of fact, we have a whole list on Amazon, on our Amazon storefront of awesome books to read, none of which I've read. All of which Sam has read. She is a voracious reader. That is something I wish for myself that will never happen. I've just never been a nonfiction reader.
It's been crazy because I was a reader when I was like really little, and then I went through a period of time where I like did not read at all, and my parents were like, "You should really read." And then I started doing it again, and I kind of fell in love. Like now I have goals of like, okay, last year I think I read like 20 books. This year I'm like 25, and I found a lot of friends that like I did not know that read, and now we all bounce back and forth. Like, do you like this book? I should get into
really
a book
awesome.
Club. Haven't done it yet. But
why don't you start it with your friends?
Because I'm getting nervous. Like, I get nervous that it's going to become a chore, and I love it right now. So I'm like, I don't know if I like
Well, Sam has no time.
I really don't. I'm like 10 pages and then I fall asleep.
She is the coach for a high school dance team. She works full-time at Get Healthy UTV. She doesn't have time.
I don't.
I take that back. Don't do that.
Yeah. She's like, I need more time with you. So there we go. How do you change your mindset to get motivated? We have a member, and she has a membership with us. She's had it for a while, but she feels like there's a wall in front of her.
So motivation gets you started. Habit keeps you going is the old saying, right? But then people say to me, okay, that's great, Chris. Yeah, I get habits. The habits are doing something consistently, but how do you find that first piece of motivation? So it requires a little discipline. So I always come back to the word discipline and remind people that the word discipline actually is synonymous with freedom. People don't think it is because discipline sounds icky. But the more disciplined you are in certain areas of your life, the more freedom you have. So I'll go back to eating healthy. When you eat healthy 80% of the time and you feel good, I do not for a minute feel guilty about having a piece of birthday cake or an ice cream cone with my granddaughter or diving into a pizza like I did a couple weeks ago. I don't feel bad at all because it's like I have discipline in my life, so freedom is then given to me. I exercise 5 days a week at least. So like if I do go through, a couple weeks ago, I think there were 3 days in a week I couldn't exercise. We were in the car nonstop. We were road tripping, but I don't feel bad because the discipline has afforded me the freedom to not lay guilt on myself. So I think you have to look at it that way. Like you got to be disciplined. I get up at 4:30 in the morning, 2 days a week. Do I want to do that 7 days a week? No, I couldn't. No, I could not. But can I do it 2 days a week? Yes, that discipline affords me freedom on the other days to sleep in. And I like to get those workouts done. Those 2 days, it really makes a difference on the way I manage my work life. Mm-hmm. So I just think you got to go back to that mental thing. It's a little bit of mental, like, okay, I don't always want to work out. I don't always look forward to picking up weights. There are some days I'm like, I'm just not going to do that. I don't always feel 100%. I mean, but you have to like kind of push through it, just like an athlete does. You know what I mean? And I love our members. They all say once they get there, like they have a dedicated space in their house, they know what TV they're going to turn Get Healthy UTV on. They plan the workout. They're following a calendar. They know what they're going to do. So they don't have time to doubt themselves. When you can doubt yourself, What time should I work out? What workout should I do? You're going to talk yourself out of it. You have to have all those discipline factors in a row, all those ducks in a row, so that you get to the point, you get to the altar, as they say, and you go, okay, I'm doing it.
Absolutely. And I think it's like good to hear too that like even you say, or we've said it before, like we don't always want to work out every day. Like there are times when it's like, I really don't want to, but like you and some days we have to, right? Like it's what we do. So we have to show up, but it's okay to not, but like then just do a 10-minute workout or stretch for a little bit. Like it doesn't have to be the hardest workout you've ever done.
Yeah. Every workout is not supposed to leave you feeling like you just died. That is not the point of working out. And like I said, most centurions, people who live to be 100, they don't do crazy exercise programs. I mean, it is about finding movement that works with your body. And there are some days, like 2 days a week, where I kind of do more of a HIIT, like push myself. But the other days of the week, I'm in a nicer heart rate zone, lifting my weights. I move a little slower now, like I said, with age, and I'm okay with that.
Do you plan to do another live on exercise modifications or low impact workouts? Those were super helpful.
Yeah, we sure can do that. That's always popular. We're going to be doing a lot of that at the fitness weekend. We're going to be, Sam and I were just talking about that. Yep. We're going to spend 1 hour just going over with everyone live form, how to go form first, speed second, how to decide what weights are the right weights, how to know when you're reaching muscle fatigue, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that we can definitely do that again in 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at the end of this year.
Or at the end of this year, yeah. Because I don't think we have those planned yet. What is the best way for those with chronic illnesses such as lupus to stay active beyond like their pain that they already have?
Oh, it's really hard. I know those of you who suffer from autoimmune diseases, you're going to have your ups and downs, right?
Absolutely.
I am not familiar enough with the pain of lupus. I don't know exactly what you're experiencing, but I'm sure there are times where it's like, nope, I can't do that. And I'm assuming that if you're suffering from that, you've probably already been through all the training on what you should eat and shouldn't eat, because hopefully, some of that does make a difference. I think you have to give yourself grace and do as much as you can when you can and tailor it back when you can and be very aware. I have a friend with rheumatoid arthritis. And so I always tell her, like, journal what feels good and what doesn't. So you remember, because it's so easy for us to forget, right? Like if a certain workout was like, that felt good on my body and it actually helped me, great. If you do a certain workout where you're like, that was just too much or that wasn't right, or that, then rule that one out, because there is so much choice in the world. You got to find what feels good for you.
Yeah, my dad has rheumatoid arthritis, and sometimes I'm like, just go move your body. And he's like, you don't understand, right? Like, and so then it kind of makes you like realize, but then there's some days he's like, I felt really good today. He like randomly played tennis. I'm like, wait, one day you couldn't go on a walk and one day, but like, that's what it is. So
that's
give yourself
what it does
grace
to you. Yes.
For sure. And so it's like, I never realized until he was diagnosed with that I'm like, oh.
And congratulations to you for moving. And we have people in our Get Healthy UTV group that suffer from different diseases and autoimmune diseases.
Yep.
And, man, do I get motivated when I see their posts of how they show up.
Absolutely. Wow, we have a lot of...
I know, we only have 2 minutes left.
I know. And now all the questions are rolling in. People are loving a lot of the workouts that we're doing. People love the calendars, so we'll continue to do those and anything that you guys have.
And by the way, all the calendars that are online, like
yes.
We update a new one every month. So some of those calendars were from like 2018. We've updated a ton of them.
I was going to say, I hope there's none of them that are that old.
No, none of them are that old. But what happens is we'll go through a series and we'll update them. And then we let the Facebook group know, like, we just updated Firm and Burn, you guys, which means it has more recent workouts in it.
And we have two new ones coming.
Two new walking ones, right?
Yep.
2 really good walking calendars. We're excited.
Okay, one last question. How do you control your cravings for sugar? She's recently realized, there was a spelling error here, but women should have like less than 25 grams of added sugar daily. That has not been easy for her. Any suggestions for like healthy sweets or that craving for sugar?
Yeah, sugar, it's not like sugar's the devil or anything. Like, it's okay if you, like, sugar has been demonized in many ways, and mostly because there's now all different kinds of sugar that some of them enter your bloodstream differently, like high fructose corn syrup, and a lot of them are just manufactured in practices that just aren't the greatest. So, but sugar in general, they do recommend 24 grams or less of added sugar, not natural sugar. So don't count your fruit in there. Don't count your veggies. So if you're eating bananas and oranges and apples, don't count that sugar in there. That's all fine. But added sugar. So I have a sweet tooth for sure. Like I need something sweet every single night, or
Same.
I can't stop thinking about
chocolate.
it.
Ooh.
You're a chocolate. I'm not necessarily a
chocolate.
chocolate, but like I love Greek yogurt. I love it. I put a little stevia in it, which doesn't affect your blood sugar. I'll add blueberries. I'll add cacao chips, like a higher percentage of chocolate chips that have a higher, that aren't just chemical.
Yep.
I add, or I'll do, and Lily's is a brand that is a sugar-free chocolate chip with a higher cacao count. I'll add some pistachios, are my favorite nut, but I love walnuts. I mean, I know you're allergic to nuts.
Nut free.
I will add like just something crunchy, a little bit of granola on top or something. So that gives me, that's like a big thing for me. I love bananas so much. So I will take like a frozen banana, put it in the blender with some other frozen fruit, like make like a little baby protein smoothie, put some
like ice cream.
It is like ice cream. I also do love chocolate. Like I'll buy chocolate bars where I can break off
a little piece.
Break off a piece. What other sweets do I have when I'm not eating like an ice cream treat? I'm trying to think. I love ice cream. That's my favorite thing. But I love pumpkin pie. I love carrot cake. I love oh my God, I love it all. What else? So there are some, I guess that would be mostly. Yogurt for me is my go-to, and frozen fruit.
Somebody on here said frozen grapes.
Frozen grapes are delicious. And frozen bananas actually just sliced.
Yeah.
Like in coins.
Yes.
They're delicious.
They're good.
Bananas are, I know there's some people who don't like bananas. I'm like, I freaking love bananas.
One a day.
One a day.
For me.
Always.
All right. We are at 1:45.
I know. Can you believe it? Okay, you guys. So that, it always goes so fast.
Always.
We only had 45 minutes today. So we are going to move on. It's so great for you guys to join us. Please go back to Get Healthy UTV. Go into the free stuff and look for our old Q&As. We have so many Q&As. We do this all the time.
Yes.
We've talked about even turning these into a podcast, but honestly, you don't have to be watching us. You could just turn it on, put in your earbuds, and walk.
I feel like a lot of like, even our friends will listen to it podcast style.
Yeah,
like, we
podcast
just like
style.
to listen to you guys banter back and forth.
So you could definitely do that and catch up on some other ones. Any of you who are coming to the fitness weekend, we can hardly wait to see you. We are so excited to meet you in person. It's going to be such a fun weekend. And we'll see you guys next month for a Q&A. We'll see you on the TV screen every darn day. We are here for you. We got fun workouts coming up. And we, as always, are so appreciative of your loyalty to Get Healthy UTV. All right, that's it.
All right, thanks.
Have a great day, everybody.